it always kicks me off before I even get started. What was that? I don't know what that was. What's up? Happy Tuesday. This is my second day in a row for getting on live, and I'm so excited. So, today is Tuesday, which means it's my girls' check-ins, right? And we had a very common topic, and the topic is goals, which is why I'm coming on here to talk about goals. And hey, Priscilla, what's up? And because I know that you'll be able to relate to it. And just, I know my girls will come on here and watch, so all the ones that some of y'all have heard this, some of y'all have not, some of y'all heard half of it, but I'm sure I'll say some other things. So, because this is a big topic. And so everybody, when they first start this journey, right, their goal is weight loss. 99% of the time, right? Very few women that have a high metabolism or don't struggle with weight specifically, even though they do struggle mentally probably with body composition, and they just don't know it yet, right? So this is for people that, most of my girls, or actually not all of them, but most of them, their initial goal is weight loss. And I'm trying to stay on track today because yesterday was a little bit everywhere. And so they start their journey and they lose weight. So I have girls that have lost 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds, right? And they get to a point, and everybody gets to this point, okay? And I'm going to tell my story in just a little while, or just a few minutes, but if you continue to stay focused on this one goal, you become complacent, you become content. Even if you haven't reached your weight loss goal, like after 6 months and 7 months, not of dieting, but of having this one goal. Here's what you do, X, Y, and Z is very basic. Weight loss is very simple, very basic, right? You're doing all the things, and let's just say you get down 30, 40 pounds, and you still have 20 pounds to go, let's say. You still can become bored and complacent and more lenient than you were at the beginning, right? At the beginning, everything was not perfect, but everything was consistent. Everything over, a month's time was consistent. And now, a bite here and a bite there, or I'm just not going to get my steps in today, or I'm not going to get my water in today, and all of that piles up. And your body only responds, we know this, to consistency, right? So before you get to that complacency place, that place of just boredom and being content, even though you're not content with your goals, or like with where you are at in your journey, like you haven't reached your goals yet, you can still be content, but you don't want to be content. You don't want to be content, but you have to be able to realize before you get to that point that you're going in that direction. Does that make sense? So I'll give you this example. And let me rewind. So when I started my journey, it was not necessarily about weight loss. It was just about I had to change my life. And over all the years, so when did I start this? 2013, 2014, something like that. My goals have changed. And they've changed because I have got bored and complacent. So they've changed, and my focus has been, so this is just an example. So bodybuilding style training, that's how and hit training. That's where everything started for me. Did that for, a year and a half, 2 years. Then it became complacent and content. And so my focus switched to, okay, let me sculpt. What am I doing? I want to sculpt my body, right? Focus became widening my back. So building my shoulders and widening my back. So for a year and a half, I worked back 3 days a week. Again, that became my goal. My goal was no longer fixated with the scale, even though I watched it. It was no longer metabolic or hormonal health. Obviously, those aren't just out the window. I still focus on those, but what keeps me going, my motivation at this point, is no longer recovering from an eating disorder. It's now building my back. So now my motivation is back high. Whereas before that goal switched, my motivation was low. And the only thing making me go every single day was my discipline, right? And so that's the difference between motivation and discipline. Discipline comes before motivation. When everybody thinks it's switched, but that's another lie. So widen my back. I spent a year and a half, 3 days a week, working back, widening my back. Got that to where I wanted it. Compared to my lower body, again, goal switched. Lower body, I wanted it to match my upper body. And so for a year and I have 2 years, I got into powerlifting and focusing on building specifically my glutes, obviously my hamstrings, and my lower back. So again, when my motivation became low, that switching goals became increased my motivation. So moving on, eventually got out of powerlifting, back into bodybuilding style training, and now I'm just kind of trying to fine tune my physique and doing it how I want to do it. And eventually that got old, right? And so that was 2019, and I'll never forget this because it changed my life. But 2019, was that when Corona hit? I don't know what this is. Yeah, because 2020 was last year. 2020 maybe? Yeah, so 2020. So in 2020, early 2020, like May, was when I started feeling that boredom and just complete content. I was completely happy with my body, my physique, my metabolism, my hormones, everything, Obviously, that was in May, so I was like into a cut, whatever. So I wasn't like, I still had little goals, nothing crazy though. And so I caught myself, we were going to Falls River a lot at the time because it was during Corona, and I was having margaritas. So we went, it was 5 total weeks, and I know this because I literally journal everything. 5 total weeks, and I had 6 margaritas over those 5 weeks, and always they're always on a Saturday. Obviously, we would go to ride the boat, visit with friends, blah blah blah, just having a good time, And I remember, drinking my 6th margarita, asking myself, what the hell is wrong with you? What is, not that it's bad. Hey, Christina. Not that it's bad, but I was like, why is it so, all of the sudden, so easy for you to say yes to margaritas when you haven't had 6 margaritas in the last 5 years combined? And the answer to that question was because I was content, because I didn't have a reason to say no to the margaritas, right? Because I didn't have goal. I didn't have a specific goal, a big enough goal. I didn't have a big enough reason why I should say no. And that was where everything started. So that was just that self-awareness to be like, okay, this is weird. Why? And so for my girls, why is it so easy for you to eat that brownie? Why is it so easy for you to take that, eat 2 or 3 candies that were not planned or were not logged, mindlessly eat them? Why is it so easy today when it wasn't easy 6 months ago? Or when it was easy, it was easy to say no 6 months ago. Why is it not easy to say no right now? And so when I asked that question, that was the answer. And so at that point, I knew I had to do something. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what my next step was, and so at that point I just prayed, please direct me, because this woman that says yes to margaritas, I don't want to be this woman. I'm not ready to be this woman. I don't want to be this woman ever again, to be honest with you. And that's all I knew at that point, right? So it's just prayed, God, give me direction as far as because I know that I'm not done yet, pretty much, that was my thought. Are you done? Are you finished? Are you completely happy? Or are you not finished? And I wasn't. I was not finished, but I didn't know what that meant. And that's okay. Like, you don't have to know what that means. You just have to know whether or not the person you are today is the person that you're okay with being for the rest of your life. Or if it's not, then don't let it be, pretty much. And so anyway, all these things, all these thoughts sort of come in my head. And I know when those thoughts, I know with every thought, I know that's God's way of talking to me. And so, like, I'm having all these thoughts, y'all. I'm like, Andy, I'm going to try out for and I'm like, I've researched this, okay? I have a plan at this point. I am going to try out for the Olympics soccer team. I used to play soccer. And he was just like, let's keep praying, okay? And so I had all these other thoughts, you know, I could do a powerlifting meet, all these things. And it probably took a week after that last margarita for God to literally slap me in the face, like with the bikini competition thing. It was like literally a slap in the face. Like, why are you looking at all these different directions? Like, this is what you're supposed to be doing. Here, right here. Here's Dylan. Here's everything. Like, here you go. Like, literally, it was like, here you go. And so that day, reached out to Dylan, scheduled a call, and it's been, my motivation that's been almost 2 years, well, a year and a half, and my motivation is sky high. And I don't know if it's ever going to come down, or if I know it will eventually, but I don't know where this journey as far as competing is going. I don't know when it's going to end. All I know is that I'm motivated every freaking day to get up and be better than I was yesterday, and better than I was last year and last week, and all the things. But so to tie all this together, your goals are they have to change. If they don't change, you're going to quit, because you're going to get bored and you're going to get complacent. You're going to either regain the weight back, or you're going to, and you can't let that happen, obviously. But more than anything, you just can't, I guess, how am I putting this? This is what happens whenever I don't have like a list of what I'm talking about. You just can't, I guess people just assume that I've been doing this for so long that it's so easy, you know, and it's not that it's not easy. It's just, or it's not that it's easy, because it's not. If it was easy, then I would be complacent and I would not be growing. Even in the gym, like, if workouts are easy, then I'm not pushing myself, right? But people think that it's just easy and the motivation just comes this naturally, and it doesn't. It doesn't ever really come naturally. It doesn't come until you have goals that are so big, whether it be weight loss or competing or whatever it is, but your goals have to be so big that there's no other option for you day to day. Because if you don't do what you're supposed to do, then you'll never reach those goals. That's the mindset that you have to have. And again, like this year, or like this time of year, is the best time to switch those goals, because there are so many different temptations, so much more temptations. You know, one of my girls today was like, I said, you know, you're literally the fifth person I've talked to about this today. And she said, it must be in the water. And I'm thinking, it's not in the water. It's just the environment. It's just the holidays, and they come around every year, and people they don't learn how to deal with the holidays, deal with the temptations, deal with the cravings, and all the food and all the things. They don't know how to deal with that, because whether they never dieted or they've done fad diets before and they've never been taught how to deal with that, whatever it is. But it's not in the water. It's just, happens every year. And if you don't know how to deal with it, if you don't know how to deal with the temptations while still making progress, that's where everybody fails. That's where everybody falls back and regains all their weight. And then January starts again. So again, going back to the cycle, that's the cycle that happens every friggin' year. So it's not in the water. It's just this time of year. So learning how to, I always say like the winter challenge is my favorite challenge, because if I can get people through the winter, then they can do anything. They can get through the holidays season while still losing weight and like enjoying themselves and finding that balance, and they can do anything. But anyway, so this is a good time of year to change your goals and your mindset. Again, even if your goal is still weight loss, all of my girls' goals is weight loss. But if I can change their focus from weight to, okay, now we're gonna work on strengthening that shoulder that you have had issues with for the last 10 years. We're gonna work on that. That's gonna be our focus, right? Cardiovascular health, that's gonna be our focus. And that doesn't mean sprints. I don't mean like running a ton of things. We're just gonna get better. So if you walk a mile in 15 minutes, next week we're going to try and walk a mile in 14 minutes and 50 seconds. You know what I mean? So just small little things like that. Like this whole journey, and I always talk about it being a mental game. The whole journey is nothing but a mental game. So this is a good time to do those things and change that mindset, because that's what keeps you on track. Because now you would put on a sweater, you wearing leggings every day, you ain't in a bikini, so there is this gap between, it's easy to stay on track going into the summer and in the summertime because you're in a bikini or you're in shorts or you're, prepping for or preparing for a vacation. But at this point, we're in the minds of the normal woman. We still got, 5 months till I got to be in shorts again, to be honest. Well, except when it's hot like this. But in a bathing suit, I still got 5 months. I can do, they become, again, complacent and content and with what they have right now, because it's not that big of a deal right now, right? But right now, and so this is when, like they always say in the bodybuilding world, the summer bodies are built in the winter, and it's very, very true. But even for people that aren't in that bodybuilding world, what you're doing now is setting you up for come January, when you decide to start losing weight. So right now matters more than it mattered really back in May, if you think about it. But anyway, so that's where people kind of just get a little lost, or like their care or their vision gets a little blurred, or whatever you want to call it, because of all of those reasons, and so switching your goals just allows you to, again, not focus on that number, which is not a big deal anyway. But at the end of the day, you can say that all day long, but at the end of the day, it does make a difference. And just switching your goals just allows you to stay adherent to what you know you need to do, right? And it gives you just a boost of motivation, like, period, So anyway, so that is what I was coming on to talk about. And yeah, that's really it. So just I've talked about it a lot lately, just being self-aware, planning and preparing, for this upcoming season. As far as holidays, you can't go into the holidays without a plan. Not if you have goals, not if you want to lose weight, not if you want to get healthy, because that's what you've been doing every other year. And obviously, you can tell me, are you where you want to be with your body and your physique and your health? No? Okay, then don't do what you've been doing. So going into the holidays with a plan, use a social calendar that I posted, allows you to have balance, allows you to still make progress, allows you to not regress in progress, right? And just keeps your motivation high, because you are still, and motivation comes from all kind of different places, right? And that's, so when you switch your goals to strength, let's say, and you hit a new PR, that's motivation. I had one of my girls didn't drink this past weekend. She had 3 events and she didn't drink. That is huge. And that's motivation for her. That might be motivation for you too if you have an issue drinking. So motivation comes from passing up cookies instead of binge eating on cookies. Like that should be where motivation is found, when you do good things. But sometimes you just, and so maybe it's not that you need to switch your goals because your motivation is low. Maybe you're just not acknowledging all the small wins that you do are having, that you do have, or that you do are making, or are whatever, achieving. And so it feels like you're not, I keep like finding stuff to clean. It feels like you're not moving forward, or you feel stagnant, and you're really not, you know? So look at that too, because again, motivation can come from anywhere. And anyway, so, okay, that's it. And now I'm going back to work, and we'll talk to y'all later.